What is up, you guys? Teller checking in for the recap of UFC Fight Night San Antonio. Cory Sandhagen slices through Marlon Chito Vera like some warm butter that just came out the microwave, if you ask me. Now, one of the judges did not agree with me there. You guys comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about that fight. Obviously, we'll be going more in depth into that main event here in a second. There was some very questionable judging throughout this card. Now, to be fair, there were some fights that played out very closely. So, you kind of are going to have people split down one side of the fence for a couple of these fights. We'll be talking about all that here. Shout out to everybody that attended the event in San Antonio. It's been a while since I cruised through San Antonio. I used to stop through SA back in the day when I'd be making my way over to Arizona. San Antonio, a great city to stop in. If you guys never been there, I do recommend that. You got like the underground little downtown. It's pretty cool. You're like walking on the street and you take these stairs. It feels like you're going underneath the ground. And there's like this little river thing there, some bars and stuff like that. It was pretty cool visiting back in the day. I'd love to make it out there. Who made it out to the fights? Comment below. Who's attending these fights these days? Who was in San Antonio? And then I'll let you guys know right now, this was a very frustrating fight card for me, and I'm going to explain to you guys why here in a second. We had 3 official plays locked in. We added 1 official play after the weigh-ins. Highly regret that right now, but we're going to be talking about that here. All right, in the first fight, Victor Ultramareno defeats Vinicius Salvador via unanimous decision. I thought this fight did play out pretty closely, though. Vinicius a little sloppy. I thought that this fight was there for the taking for Vinicius, but he was a little sloppy, kind of headhunting at times. I thought he should have been working the body more so. Victor, a very unorthodox type of fighter, mixing things up a little bit better and sneaking in some takedowns here and there. And it was a fun fight. I do believe that Vinicius had this fight on the table, and I think he left it there personally. This was my smallest play on the card. I had a 2-unit play on Vinicius Salvador, so we drop our first official play there. I wasn't really stressing that too much because I really was invested in my 2 other plays here that we'll get to. CJ Vergara, what a fight this was with Daniel Da Silva. CJ Vergara weathering the storm in the first round. It almost seemed like he was running away from Daniel, reminiscent to maybe Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez, or if you guys can think of any other fights where the fighter turns his back and he's just straight running. I know there's a couple that are slipping my mind right now. But listen, smart tactics, if you ask me. He composed himself, came back, got the finish in the second round. I thought that was a hell of a fight. I was on the beach with my boys and whatnot, and we had the iPad set up, we had the speaker going, and we were going crazy on the beach. People thought we were nuts. We were, yelling, you could imagine what we were yelling, fuck him up, finish him, screaming. Everyone's looking over at us. But, it was one of those types of days. Watch this entire event on the beach. It was pretty cool. Trevin Giles defeats Preston Parsons via split decision. No official action here. Luckily enough, I was going to put a small play on Preston Parsons. I did avoid it. But I will tell you this. I thought Preston edged this fight. If you ask me, I thought he edged this fight. It was very close. If you look at all the MMA media, who they picked to win this fight, it was pretty much split right down the middle. You can go over to MMA decisions and all that. So, I'm not going to argue with you if you thought Giles won the fight. Giles did some things good early as well. It was a good fight. But I told you guys, Preston's the real deal. And Giles was massive in there, fighting in the welterweight division. We know he's fought at the middleweight division. Giles is a very talented fighter. I think both those guys will move on to have more success in the UFC moving forward. Lucas Alexander defeats Steven Peterson. I did pick Steven Peterson to win this. A lot of people were on Steven here. He was a decent favorite. Didn't have an overwhelming amount of confidence in a guy like Steven Peterson, but I just really haven't seen anything from Lucas up until this point. I thought Steven Peterson could have kind of used his man strength and his experience to pull through here. Instead, we see Steven Peterson dropping the gloves in the octagon, retiring, and Lucas Alexander looked pretty good there. So we'll see how he looks moving forward. Daniel Pineda pulls off the guillotine choke over Tucker Lutz, another big-time favorite on the card, drops the ball here. Daniel Pineda, I was on Lutz. Everybody was on Lutz, let's be honest here. Daniel Pineda is a fighter that's very much up there in age. He's a fighter that's popped for multiple drug tests. This is a guy that without a doubt was using steroids and all types of stuff, and we've seen very good versions of him in the cage, and we've seen also a major decline in some of his performances. So who knew what we were going to get from a guy like Daniel Pineda, especially now with all the mileage and the age that he was at going into this fight, but shows up at the weigh-ins, looks good, and goes out there and he looks good in this fight and gets the finish over Tucker Lutz. So who knows what's next for Daniel Pineda, man. Just that's a hard one to really put your finger on. All right, now this is where things got very frustrating for me. So the last play that I added for this card, I had 2 official plays, and I was going to stick with those 2 official plays, and I got greedy. At the weigh-ins, I decided to throw a 3-unit play on Chidi Njokuani. I saw that line come down. I was able to grab it at a -155 line. I thought he won this fight, but I don't say that as if I'm frustrated with the judging or anything like that. This was a very close fight. Albert Duryev was the fighter that was pressuring and coming forward. It's just that besides that first round where Albert got that takedown, Chidi kept this fight on the feet. He was very timid and very shy to really let his striking go based on the fact I think he was scared to get taken back down, which I think he shouldn't have been, because I think that he would have stuffed those takedowns. In fact, he did stuff 1 or 2 early that Duryev tried to press against him. He controlled the wrist and he broke off, got space. I think that he should have had more confidence that he would be able to continue doing that and just let the hands go and don't try to throw big shots. Just pepper Duryev up because you were clearly the better striker. I still thought that he edged rounds 2 and 3. If you take a look at the masses and the media, the majority had Chidi Njokuani winning this fight. It was very close, though. A lot of people had Duryev too. But I feel that Njokuani almost deserved to lose this fight based on the fact that it was sitting right there for him. If he could have just threw 5 more significant strikes just to ending those rounds a little bit, just a little simple shots, he solidifies that fight. So he almost really deserves to lose that fight, if I want to be honest with you guys. But at the same time, I thought that he edged it, and obviously it's disappointing. Another split decision loss on one of my official plays for 2023. The split decisions have been absolutely wrecking me. This was the difference of having a very solid fight card or not. And we're going to get to my last play, which was my biggest play, a 5-unit play in a second. But Chidi should have came through there, and that one was tough for me. But again, he left it there. He left it out there. Macy Barber, all right, speaking of controversial split decisions, Macy Barber gets the victory over Andrea Lee. I honestly, I saw a lot of people saying that Lee should have won this fight, and I'm going to tell you right now, as I was watching this fight, my gut was telling me Lee was about to get her hand raised. She looked good. I mean, she obviously finished rounds on top, but to play devil's advocate, Macy Barber was landing the more impactful shots. She was landing the more damaging shots. If you guys want to be honest about it, if you run the tape back, she was landing some heavy shots, but then she would get tripped up. She would be on her back or whatnot. Listen, I'll say that Lee should have won that fight with the majority of you guys as well. A lot of people were on Barber, though. You check the media. I mean, a lot of people did have Barber winning this fight as well. Go to MMA decisions, and I'm sure some of you guys were frustrated just if you had money on Lee or whatnot. This was a fight that could have went either way. Andrea Lee I think that she should have tried to do a little bit more damage when she had that control. If she could have actually postured up and tried to land some heavier shots, she really could have put a stamp on this fight. I'll say she should have won the fight, but just keep in mind that Barber was really the one that was throwing out those heavy shots. You guys let me know what you guys thought there. Nate Landwehr weathers the storm early from Austin Lingo. We talked about the fact that Lingo would have the better boxing, was landing nice there, but Nate was composed, waited for the right time, got this fight down to the mat, pulls off the rear naked choke. Nate's a beast. Holm defeats Yano Santos. Holm looking good here. I mean, she's an absolute stallion, right? I mean, she reminds me of a stallion, like a horse. It's like I'm going out to throw some money on the horses. It's a beautiful day. You know, I got my cigar ready to go, and you know, before each race, you got to walk over and you got to watch the horses make their little roundabout, and you just admire the legs and just the stallionness of the horses, and that's what Holm is, man. You see her at the weigh-ins, and you got to enjoy that while it lasts, because she's in her 40s now, and you see Father Time catching up with her a little bit. I mean, she's still tight, but she's she's a stallion, and I really liked what her message was about in the post-fight speech that she had there in the cage. Yeah, I do feel that she could have articulated things better. If you saw her in the post-fight press conference as well, I really like what she was saying, but I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, I would have said it better and really articulated a couple things going on with the platform that she has. But I mean, she was just in a fist fight, and that's not necessarily her specialty. I just give her credit for bringing up some of those issues going on. So shout out to Holm, a true legend of the game, a future Hall of Famer, and all that. All right, and then we had another split decision victory here. Cory Sandhagen defeats Marlon Chito Vera. You guys, this was disgusting. You know, we're gonna pull up the judge here that actually had Marlon Vera winning this fight. Joel Ojeda, I guess you would say. I mean, you could definitely see some hometown cooking. I'm sure he's probably Ecuadorian. Winning rounds 3, 4, and 5 for Marlon Vera. I think that's absolutely disgusting. I think maybe you could have said Vera's best round was the 3rd round, I believe. And I still didn't give him that round. I had it 50-45 for Cory Sandhagen. I had an absolute clinic, an absolute just a surgical performance for Cory Sandhagen. He's the real deal. I had a 5-unit play in him, grabbed it at -170. I wish I would have just avoided that cheaty play, and it would have been a great night there anyway. But big props to Cory. You guys know, a few drinks in the beach. You guys know I was doubling up on this play here as well. So it brought in some good money. But, you know, Cory Sandhagen, he still has to wait a little bit. It's not like this is necessarily a #1 contender spot, I don't believe, right? You got Sean O'Malley, you got Merab Divalashvili. That name always gets me there. I know some of you guys have been giving me a hard time with the names in the comment section, but Merab, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on right now. You got Cejudo and Sterling about to throw down. So this division, you know, it's a little backed up towards the top, but Cory puts himself in a great position moving forward, and I'm really excited to see who he takes on next, because I think that he's really starting to hit his stride in the division. The frame and the technical ability, the well-roundedness of Cory is going to give a lot of guys problems. All right, guys. So I do apologize I didn't do the matchmaking here in this video, but if you guys go follow me on Instagram at MMAFortuneteller_, I'm working on that right now, and I'll have that post on my IG. Go check out who I'm matchmaking for the main card fighters. Apologize for not getting that here in the video, but I promise moving forward that will be the case. I just wanted to get this uploaded and delivered to you guys ASAP, since I'm recording this Monday morning, and I know some of you guys are waiting on this. All right, so the star of the show, in my opinion, was Cory Sandhagen, and you guys let me know how you did on this fight card from a betting perspective and what you guys thought about everything. I appreciate all you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Catch me on all my social media, Instagram, MMAFortuneteller_, on Twitter at the MMA Teller. I'll also have that post there as well. All right, guys. We will have the big UFC Miami fight card prediction video coming out to you guys very soon as well. You guys be patient with that. We're really crunching the tape. This is going to be a big card coming up. All right, guys. Signing out. Teller.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA Fortune Teller. Yeah.
The MMA Fortune Teller.
The teller.